So you've gotten clear on what you want, you've set an intention, and nothing is changing. Why and what now? Let's talk about the role of patience and persistence in the manifestation process and how to find out whether there is maybe something that needs to shift in yourself, in your state, in your belief system, or whether it's just taking its sweet ass time. Hello, my loves! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Lorena. I am a self-concept coach and I support women to shift their self-concept, change their identity, embody a new state of being so that they can manifest anything that they desire in life. If you end up liking this video, please do leave me a like below. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe and switch on the notifications because I upload videos every week and there's so much more to come. I've got big plans for the future. And I also invite you to check out the links in the description box below because you have so many free tools and resources and masterclasses and all of the things that will really help you to get started on your journey of changing your self-concept and get you onto the trajectory for the reality that you wish to experience and manifest. Okay, let's talk patience and persistence. But the more important question is, rather than how do I stay patient or how do I persist, how do I stay persistent, is why are manifestations sometimes delayed? And there can be a multitude of reasons for it. A very simple reason that will be the reason that will just require you to be patient is that there's simply a time lag. There's simply a period from the moment where you really tap into that state of being and you really become that version of you that already has it, that already feels its reality, that acts in alignment with that reality that you want, that state versus that reality. It takes time to manifest. It's not going to be instant. A lot of people just want everything to happen overnight, but that's simply not how it works. And it's also not very healthy. It's very ego-based. If it's a true desire of yours, trust me, you can wait. It's only our egos that thrive off instant gratification. But truthfully, that you manifest what you want and keep that reality, stay in that reality, keep that manifestation is much more important than how fast it happens. But it's not always just a time lag. It's not always that you are embodied in that state and it just takes time to come to fruition. And if you're really honest with yourself, you can also very easily find out which of the two it is. Because when you are embodied in that state where you already act completely in integrity and in alignment with that future, and your behavior has changed and how you show up has changed, and you are a completely different version of yourself that matches up with that reality, you feel differently, you think differently, and it's all automatic, then you're not going to be waiting for it anyway. Then it's not going to be hard for you to stay patient or to stay persistent because it is who you have become. And it doesn't really matter whether it manifests at all from that point onward, to be honest. But there's other reasons for why manifestations can be a bit later than you would like. And those are most likely the reasons where you do care. So one reason is that you might be doing the same thing whilst expecting a different result. So as I said, when you are close to that manifestation, when there's just a time lag, but you've already shifted into that state, everything is going to feel differently. You're not going to be waiting for it. You're not going to have to tell yourself that it's done. You're going to feel it. You're going to know it. And so if you're not acting and behaving in alignment with that future vision, that version of you that already has made that reality manifest, then you're acting from a past version of you or from, I guess, the current version of you. And when you keep doing those same things and you keep acting in those same ways and you keep not taking risks and you keep not putting yourself out of your comfort zone, you're gonna get the same results. And you're going to keep yourself in a cycle and things aren't going to change. That is a tricky scenario because now you're not having to stay patient or persistent. Now you actually need to shift something in your state of being and you need to do the inner work to get there. which is similar to the second point, which is you might be in a state of waiting. That is a state where you're, again, not embodied in that reality, and you're also not in the beginning stages of getting clarity on the desire, setting your intention, starting working on yourself. You're sort of in limbo in between. You're like, you have done some work on yourself and you have made some progress, but you're not fully embodied in that state where that reality is already present for you internally. And so you might just be, and that can be very unconscious and very subtle, in a state of waiting for it to happen, waiting for it to come. And you might tell yourself things like, oh, like I know it's going to show up eventually. That state is not the same as being patient. That state is not the same as the natural time lag, because it's going to feel very different. There's going to be a lot more resistance in your system. You're going to feel impatient and you're going to be very passive. You're not acting in integrity and in alignment with who you desire to be, but you're just waiting for things to come to you, which never really works because your desires are waiting for you and not the other way around. The moment you're waiting for your desires to come to you, you're giving your power away. Similar to what I told you about being embodied in that state of that reality you want to call in, the next point is all about your beliefs. Maybe your beliefs aren't aligned with that manifestation. So maybe there is something inside of you that doesn't feel it to be possible. And if you don't feel it to be possible, you're not going to be open to receiving it. And if you're not open to receiving it, it's not going to come in. And this point goes hand in hand with your shadows, and your subconscious mind might be blocking your manifestation. And I'm going to link a separate video up in an info card. I never know which way to point. I'm going to point both ways, where I share more about how your shadow and how your subconscious mind can be blocking your manifestation. But this refers to your subconscious beliefs, and they can really keep you stuck moving into the reality you want to experience. And finally, it's very much possible that your nervous system is not yet expanded enough, is not yet built out to be ready to receive that desire, that reality, that manifestation. And that can really repel the manifestation even when it's fully ready. So you first have to become the version of you that is even ready to receive that manifestation, because your manifestation is likely ready, but you are not ready for it. Now ask yourself, who do you have to become to receive that, to get ready for that manifestation, for that reality? For example, I set the intention to grow my YouTube channel this year. And if I'm really honest with myself, and I sat with this the other week, the reason I've had slow growth this past year on an unconscious level is because there is a part of me that fears the trolls and that fears the nasty comments, because they do come in regularly. So there's a part of me that is resisting that very thing. Like, I want growth, but there's a part of me that fears that growth because of the consequences of that. So who do I have to become to break through that? Not only do I need to be consistent with my uploads, and I need to put the work in, I need to take the action towards it, I need to put energy into high quality content. I also need to integrate the fears of being judged, being cancelled, which, to be honest, is something that I'm pretty much over now. But these are all pieces where I was not in integrity with the version of me that would have experienced that growth that I desired. So I'm giving you this as a personal example so that you can sit with yourself and see, okay, where am I not in integrity with who I want to be? Where am I not in alignment with the version of me that is ready to receive that reality? Hello, quick interruption from editing Lorena from the future. One thing that I didn't emphasize enough was the importance of taking action. So I want to speak to this a little more right now. I did mention it quite a few times in the different aspects, the different parts of receptivity and embodiment, because it does require taking action as well. And your embodiment goes hand in hand with your behaviors, with your actions and reactions. However, I do feel like it deserves an extra mention, because if you don't take action towards your desires, you can be in the most receptive energy. You can be fully feeling that it's done. That still doesn't mean it's going to come in. Of course, there are cases where energetically things just line up and things just fall into your lap. But depending on the bigness
of your desires. And if you're here watching my content, then I assume the desires you have aren't manifesting a free cup of coffee, but it's something bigger, something that where your heart is more in it, where your soul is more yearning for it. Then you also need to take action. So when I bring that back to, for example, the YouTube growth example that I had, if I set the intention to grow on YouTube, but I never upload videos, then this isn't going to happen. And that's also something that will take time. So a lot of people just set the intention and just get themselves into the energy, and that is important. But if you don't line up your actions with it and stay patient and consistent with those actions, then likely you're not going to see results. And that applies to any area of life, not just my example with YouTube and business, but it can also apply to relationships. If you want to date, but you don't put yourself out there, if you want a relationship and you don't put yourself out there to meet people and you just sit at home, yeah, it can happen that the postman knocks on the door and that's the person you fall in love with. It's not impossible, but the likelihood of you receiving the relationship of your dreams is much higher if you leave the house and you actually put yourself out there and take action towards your desire.
But let's say you're doing all of these things. Let's say your nervous system is fully ready to receive. You have reprogrammed your subconscious belief system. Let's say you have a skilled coach who holds you accountable, who supports you in truly reprogramming your subconscious and your nervous system and ultimately shift your state or your self-concept. Let's say you've done all that and it's still not here immediately, then it's probably fine. Because some things, especially the bigger things, are not supposed to happen overnight. Honestly, you would freak the fuck out if it was to suddenly happen overnight. To run with a YouTube example, if I suddenly got 100,000 subscribers overnight, would I be able to hold that? Actually, I think I would. Yeah, I think I would. But maybe 1 million, I wouldn't be able to. So sometimes it just takes time for you to get ready to be available to that desire or manifestation. Now, if, however, you have been trying the same thing for many months, some people even years, I hear this all the time, sadly, and nothing is truly changing, you're not experiencing the synchronicities, you're not making significant progress into the direction you want to go into, something is off, because it shouldn't take years of waiting. When you are in that state of the in-between, where you just have to be patient, use that time. Use that time to become that version of you that aligns with that reality. So that when it comes, you're freaking ready and you get to enjoy it and you get to embrace it and you get to keep it. And this is what my work here is really about. That is really what I teach you. I don't just teach you how to manifest or how to get your manifestations. That is all a side effect of the work that we do together anyway. I teach you how to become the version of you that aligns with that reality so that when it shows up, you are so freaking ready to receive it. It has the space to come in and you'll be able to sustain it so easily. You'll feel confident about it and good about it, and you're enjoying the freaking process as well of getting there, and you're not waiting around. You should really feel a deep embodied shift in your self-concept, in your state of being that is in full alignment and integrity with that reality that you wish to call in. If you still keep falling into the same belief systems and the same patterns and the same dynamics, and you're being tested with the same triggers and circumstances all the time, there's probably more work to do. And when there is more work to do, that's not a problem. That doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. A lot of people try approaches that don't initially work, to be honest. But often that is part of the journey. When I started my journey, things weren't working out for me. And most of the clients that come to me now, they come to me as their last stop. They have tried a lot on their own already. They have worked with other coaches before. They have done courses and bought programs before. And they often come to me as their final stop. But the fact that the previous things haven't worked or haven't brought them to where they wanted to go, that's not a problem. That was part of their journey. because they likely wouldn't have found me and wouldn't have come to me had they not had the exact journey that they had. So don't give up just because you don't see results. Get honest with yourself about what step you need to take next to make the progress you wish to make. Let me know in the comments where you feel like you're currently at in your journey. Maybe this video has given you some realization, and I would love to know what you feel the next step for you is, what the next action is that you need to take to make your desired reality manifest. And I'll see you in next week's video.